Hey, it's time for the Star Goddess podcast on the Crash and AJ blog right there at 98rock.com. And as we record on a Victory Monday, the 25th of January, 2021, we get the weekly outlook here. But yeah, it's a Victory Monday. As we put this down on wax here, basically, the Bucks are coming off an NFC Championship game, which Star Goddess predicted pretty much. Star Goddess, hello.
Yes, hello. So happy to be here. You know, I love my favorite words ever are, "Oh, you were right." You know, I think it's amazing. You know, but what we talked about earlier in the year, you know, that started all this stuff is that it was 12 years since we had been in the playoffs, and Jupiter has an 11.9-year cycle, virtually a 12-year cycle, and then the eclipse cycle, which went to the Gemini-Sag axis in June, has an 18-year cycle, and it's been 18 years or 18.9-year cycle since we won the Super Bowl. So I am cautiously optimistic about both of those being incredibly good omens for the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. So I'm really happy about that. I love being right about that kind of stuff. So
it's just been we were talking about it earlier, having Tampa Bay under the microscope during, you know, this. I always kind of reference March when the craziness started. It's been crazy, but man, it's been good to have the distraction of all these sports teams that we have here in the Bay Area and doing well. And
been crazy good to have 3 professional sports teams, all 3 go to the final game of their season.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing, and I'm just so excited to be, you know, a Tampa Bay sports fan right about now. Just had to live longer.
Yeah.
You know,
and shout out to the Rowdies, too. I mean, they made it to their championship as well, even though, unfortunately, that was canceled because of COVID.
But
they still made it as far as they could, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
And that's kind of a testament to the Tampa in particular is an Aquarian. That's when we were incorporated. And I think it's interesting that Jupiter, the planet of luck and abundance, is in Aquarius. So Tampa really is shiny, even though the Rays played in St. Pete. They're still the Tampa Bay Rays, not the St. Pete Rays. You know what I mean? So I think it's wonderful. I'm very excited about it. And I'm certainly betting on them. I can tell you that right now. So, I'm delighted about that.
Maybe we can incorporate some of those players throughout the forecast for the week here as you give us the theme going into the week there, Star Goddess.
We do. This week we have a full moon. This is the full moon on the Aquarius Leo axis. And full moons always bring matters to some sort of a conclusion. And to get an idea of what they're not necessarily matters just from the week. Because this is the Leo Aquarius axis, it's bringing matters to a climax. Matters that were started at the end of last July and August. So, and it's hard, a lot of us, we think, man, 2-3 weeks in the future, 2-3 weeks in the past, it's about as far back as we look. So, but all of us can look to the July and August time span and see things that we kind of were going into then that can be kind of wrapped up and concluded now. And I think it's important to know where in your life, because not all of us are going to have it in money, where in your life that you want to be expecting that energy to manifest. So that, to me, is the absolute beauty of astrology, is that it's predictive in the sense that the planets move at a predictable rate of speed, that a planet in a sign produces a result, and, that planet's going to be there on Tuesday. You take an educated guess as to what the outcome's going to be. So for all of us, we can look to the July-August time span and bring those things to a conclusion. So we're in the sign of Aquarius right now. As far as Aquarius goes, with this full moon in their 7th house of partners, it is their intimate one-to-one relationships where they are going to be going ahead and focusing their attention. And it's their rights and freedoms inside of that intimate one-to-one relationship or partnership. And sometimes it's marriage, sometimes it's romantic, sometimes it's professional, business partners type of deal. But regardless, the outcome of this is after a bit of a fit being pitched by the partner, the Aquarian gets their way. The Aquarian gets what it is that the Aquarian wants. And it's freedom. And Aquarians need to know that with that comes a lot of responsibility. That nothing really is kind of free for them.
Okay.
But it's a good time for Aquarians to advance their own interests, which bodes really well for the general manager of the Bucks. He's an Aquarian, Jason Light. So I'm cautiously optimistic about that.
Love that.
So, kind of like that. For Pisces, the next sign, this is a good time for Pisces kind of just to take a step back and kind of just, take it easy, take a break, that it's not a good time for them to put forth their own energies, that they'll be much more supportive of other people's energy. Sometimes you have to give a little more than you get, and unfortunately for Pisces, that's going to be the story of their lives over the next week, 10 days or so.
Yeah, giving support's not such a bad thing, though, right? Giving support, kind of taking the focus off yourself and maybe focusing on some loved ones and some family around you or something like that.
Yeah. People that need a little bit more, and it doesn't mean it's going to stay off you forever. It's just right about now, there's something that's been pending in Pisces' life, and it may even be a work thing or a health matter that can finally at least get resolved one way or the other. So at least you'll know to be able to go forward with it or not. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just Pisces aren't going to be the star of the show this week. That's the big thing with that energy. It's giving a little bit more than you get kind of a deal. Not so much for Aries. For Aries, man, it's like reach for that brass ring. It's coming around. It's right there. This eclipse is in the fifth house. The moon in Leo for Aries is their fifth house of love affairs, children, sports, amusements, pleasures, anything fun, anything entertaining, anything creative. That helps get the Aries towards a long-term hope, wish, goal, or objective. So, and it's going to take the group. It's sort of like the Aries is going to take their energy and apply to a group situation and end up making the group look pretty good as well. And in doing that, it brings the Aries the goal or objective that they were looking for, what they were hoping to make happen out of this whole deal. And I need to note at this point that Tom Brady's moon sign is Aries, and Bruce Arians' moon sign is Aries. So I think, again, that also, to me bodes pretty well for the next 2 weeks or so for that energy. And so the trick here is for Aries to take their creativity, give it to the group, let the group think, oh, this is our idea, but it really does suit the Aries wants and needs. So,
like Tom Brady's saying now, we should pass the ball more, don't you think, everybody? Yeah, okay, sure.
I know he's done okay with running that ball lately.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah. You gotta be, you gotta have the whole deal. You can't just do one thing. You do one thing over and over again, you're gonna get picked off. It's like, golly, let's not do that again. So, but for Aries everywhere, including Aries Rising's boss, it's a good time to get the group to give you what you want. Gotta like that.
Okay.
For Tauruses, this energy is in the 10th house of career and public standing. And Tauruses, things are changing professionally for them. They may see it initially as a step back, but it's really a step forward. They have to be careful because they're going to get one of those pats on the back with one hand and then additional other duties with the other hand. It's like, wow, you did such a good job with so little. We want you to continue to do that. And the Taurus is going, I've already created a miracle. How much more can I do? And they go, well, we're going to find out, aren't we? You probably have a minute or two where you're sleeping. And you don't really need those Z's, so it's that type of a deal. And the right thing for the Taurus to say is, sure, I can do that. I got a minute or so I'm not doing anything with. But it will pay off for them in the long run. And it's really, in a way, it's kind of a compliment to the job that the Taurus has done. But the Taurus isn't going to really see it as a compliment. The Taurus is kind of going to see it as, great, an additional other duty. Yay! That kind of a deal. But
I'm trying to figure out whenever you go with Tauruses, I always try to figure out what's going on with AJ with her. I'm trying.
She's our boss. Yeah, me too.
How does that work out with AJ? How's that going to entail her life?
She gets additional other duty that she gets to do from home.
Oh.
Okay.
That's what concerns me. And I know she's got a studio in her home and broadcasting out of her home, and they'll be like, well, yeah, you can do something. Sort of like another guy I know who's doing afternoons in another place. That kind of a deal.
Got a couple hats on right now. It's kind of increased the schedule a little bit.
Yes. But I can tell you for sure it does pay off for you by April and May.
Good.
That's the big thing to remember. Because whatever it is that occurs this week in the nailing something down, it's sort of like I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today, like sort of do the job now, and then in April and May, you get everything else that goes along with it.
Like occupational layaway, right?
Yes. That's exactly right. Occupational layaway. I kind of wish I would have said that. That's very cool. For Geminis, this eclipse is in the ninth house of long-distance travel. Legal matters become very, very important to Geminis. And matters, again, that have been pending for Geminis since August finally get concluded one way or the other. I think that there is short-distance, short-duration travel for Gemini, but I think some of their long-distance plans or bigger picture plans begin to solidify all of this week, that they have a better idea of what their legal standing is and where it is they are going to do whatever the fight is that they're going to be in. I have to tell Geminis because this energy squares Taurus, which is where Mars is right now. The only person that can really do the Gemini in is the Gemini. You know, they have to be really careful about that, not to shoot themselves in their own foot with this energy, and don't provide any legal ammunition against you if you don't have to. It's the only way to describe it. It's the sort of thing like don't commit yourself to anything unless there's a subpoena at the end of it. You know, make sure that what it is that you say, and if you have lawyers, for God's sake, take their advice, Geminis. Because whatever it is that's been pending comes to be and is concluded.
These guys need to choose their words wisely, basically, here.
Yeah, but they, you know, the two signs that have the hardest time with that are Gemini and Sagittarius. For both of them, the words just kind of just fall out of their mouth, and they look at you and go, what did I say? And it's like, oh, my God.
Gotcha.
Because the Geminis are in the right this minute. They've got so many ideas. Because they're ruled by Mercury, they've got so many ideas going through their heads that they need to, like, say stuff so they can make room for other stuff going through their head. But the big thing for Geminis are, you know, you've got legal matters, educational matters, important matters at a distance that have been pending since August that need to be wrapped up this week. So, and I think they can get a favorable result with it, you know, which is kind of good if you're facing impeachment again for the second time. You sort of do want a good result with that. Yeah, it's a Gemini.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, get your story straight. So that kind of a deal. You can get a better outcome than you fear is the right thing to say to Geminis.
All right.
For Cancers, this energy is in how can we heal? Gemini, for Cancer, the moon is in their second house of money. The sun is in their eighth house of how can I rehabilitate something. So it's about making more money that rehabilitates something. And something new comes to light at this full moon this week for Cancers everywhere that makes it easier for them to see their way clear to act. You know, and I look at the United States and I think, man, they might even actually pass that any kind of stimulus bill to send Americans more money or do something to rehabilitate the finances of both the Cancer individually and then the United States as well. I think you'll see legislation stuff coming down to go ahead and change that. Before Cancer's everywhere, it's about healing from a trauma. It's about benefiting from other people's resources. And in a sense, the money gods are going to be smiling on Cancer. So I don't think that's bad news for them at all.
I'm personally hoping that maybe everybody kind of wakes up nationally and sees how much money that can be made off of, the marijuana crops and everything like that.
Oh, my God, yes.
That can be making up and paying for some of this money that we're handing out. I mean, billions and billions and trillions and jillions of dollars. Right. How you can make up some of that money when you kind of structure all that nationwide.
You betcha. Decriminalize it, slap a federal tax on it, use that federal tax dollars to either help repair the economy, infrastructure, whatever it is. Don't bet on oil, but definitely bet on cannabis. I think that would be the smartest thing that we could do. And it's right there, It's right there. No, it's an easy thing to do. And that can be done literally with the stroke of a pen. You fire the head of the DEA, you put some new guy in who goes, oh, no, that's not a Schedule I drug, and you're good to go. So for Leos, you ask inquisitively, this is great energy for Leo. The sun is in Aquarius, which is their public image. It's also their seventh house of partnerships, intimate one-to-one relationships. But the moon is in their sign. So they have the upper hand in the negotiation. They are what the partners want is what the Leo has to give. Okay. It's not the Leo chasing after a partner. It's the partner. And that's both personal partnerships and professional partnerships, too. Chasing after the Leo. They need the Leo on their team. Instead of the Leo needing the Aquarian on their team, it's the other way around. The Aquarian energy, the partners, are looking to the Leo to join them. So the Leo has the hammer in that particular regard, she needs to mention to her Leo co-host.
Gotcha.
So, and I hate to do that because, I'm pretty sure one of the people you've been negotiating with is AJ. but
I find myself negotiating with AJ quite a bit, actually.
All the time, yeah. Funny how that works.
Good. Well, this week, Crash, you have the upper hand in that negotiation.
So. I have to take that in mind.
She needs you on her team. But both of you will benefit because Taurus sits at the 10th house, the top of the chart of Leo. So, Leos do really well with Tauruses. They can make a lot of good things happen with it. So I'm
make it happen.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, and good press for you, Leos. Very, very good press for you.
Oh.
Again, I have to cite our quarterback, Tom Brady, a Leo, a shining star Leo. And Mike Evans is a Leo too. And I got to tell you, that guy, he would play if both his ankles were broken. He was, that's okay, put me in, coach, numb it up, I can be on the field. You know what I mean? He's that kind of a competitor. He's got that kind of a heart. And I think Leos are just, it's their turn really to shine. And that's what this energy really does, cast a bright light on the Leo and what their public image looks like. And I don't think it's bad.
How about Mike Evans coming like in that game? It seemed like Mike Evans came out with authority with some big plays right off the bat.
Skippy, the first. Yeah, we're talking about the Bucs' first drive with the ball. Bada bing, bada boom. Got business done.
You know, this is a guy 2 weeks ago. We were like, oh, my God, he hyperextended his knees. They're going to be okay. It's like,
Yeah, how you like me now?
Yeah, but I mean, this guy is such a competitor. Leos have so much heart. I mean, and he's not only is he a Leo, but his Mercury is in Leo, and they have so much heart and so much passion that it is their will. I mean, he literally willed his leg to be okay.
Nice.
You know, it's like, I'm not having this now, leg. You can be bad some other time, and not now. So that kind of a thing, and I love that. You can't coach heart. Either somebody has heart or they don't. You know, and Leo's born with it. So I think it's great. I'm excited about that. For Virgos, oh, great. Nothing but hard work for us. Yay. Because this full moon is in our 6th house of work and our 12th house of our own undoing. And it's sort of, that's the sign where we are going to have to give a little bit more than we get. With this full moon being behind our sign, this is not really all about us. This is about us being a part of a team and just doing the job, just getting the job done. I do think something changes for them and they find a way to use, or they've been resistant. The right thing is Virgos have been resistant to adapt to new changes or new technology to do their job, to make their job easier to do. And so the Virgo is going to have this kind of like to slap open your blind third eye kind of thing and go, oh, I see now what that means and how I can utilize that to make it work for me. Sort of like, how long's Instagram been around? For about 1,000 years. I just got on it.
Right.
You know, it's that kind of thing. You know, it's that kind of a thing. It's like, okay, now I figure out how to post things and how you do that.
Whenever you bring up the Virgos, I always think of my girlfriend and how I can get ahead of the game and knowing what's going on with her according to the stars. So I'm just, one step ahead, just make sure I'm anticipating the correct stuff.
Yes. I think she's going to have to take more routes that she doesn't really want to take, but she needs to do it.
Okay.
That kind of thing. It's like a give a little more than you get kind of deal. For Libra, this is amazing energy for Leo. The moon is in the 11th house of hopes, wishes, goals, and objectives. The sun is in the 5th house of amusements, pleasure, sports, entertainment, anything fun, anything that's a good time. And guess who's a Libra? Our head coach, Bruce Arians, is a Libra. And he was actually giddy. He was actually giddy coming off the field. You know,
how could he not be?
I love what he said about Tom Brady and the fact that he allows Tom Brady to be Tom Brady, and he doesn't think that the New England team did that, and he just sits back sometimes and watches, which I thought was just a very telling quote there.
Well, they should. You know, I thought that was one of the things they did against the Saints too, was realizing that the Saints were going to guess what the Bucs were going to do, but they damn sure didn't have a clue what Tom Brady was going to do. Yeah. You know, and I think I think he's right about that. But again, this energy is very, very positive. This Aquarian energy is very positive to Bruce Arians. And I know he really wants to win the Super Bowl, but I got to tell you, his own personal goal was to get to where he is right now. And anything after that's just a gift. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
He's so happy. And I think it's great. Libras everywhere can take a look at that and go, okay, so hard work really does pay off. And I really can achieve a long-standing hope, wish, goal, or objective. The group will help me get there. That's the beauty of this. That's the 11th house is the group. Whatever your group is. For him, it's the Buccaneers. For us, it's, the morning show team. That's our group. Mm-hmm. So for Libras, whatever group they're in, the group is going to help the Libra get what the Libra wants and needs more and has been really working for. So I think and they've really struggled over the last 3 years or so. Libras, there was no happier sign in the zodiac than when Saturn left Capricorn like December 20th than Libras, because they were literally besieged for the last 3 years or so. So I'm with them in celebrating. I'm delighted for them. And I think this is a great week for them to achieve a long-standing hope, wish, goal, or objective. Yeah, I like that.
Well, the team, as far as like, Arian sitting back and, being satisfied with where he's at right now. He doesn't have really. If he wants to just say, "All right, Tom, you've been here 10 times. How do you win this thing?" I guess Tom will be able to do his thing, and he's got a great team around him. And it looks like the stars are lining up for this Buccaneers squad.
The defense, you betcha. The stars genuinely are aligning. They aligned when Tom Brady became available. And I got to tell you, the saddest guy in the whole world right about now is Aries Bruce Belichick. Because for 6 months, literally, he's an Aries. Mars went into Aries July 1st. I don't remember when exactly we got Tom Brady, but I know that from day one, Bill Belichick's just going, damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it. That he knows. Because, again, I still think that was a Robert Kraft decision, not a Bill Belichick decision. But I know he's the saddest guy in the whole world going, that could have been us.
Yeah.
It's like, how you enjoying watching the January teams play with you on your butt in your lounger? So yeah. I love it. Living well. Scorpio is the next sign of the zodiac. This is rough energy for Scorpio. Scorpio, not necessarily rough energy, but Scorpio needs to give its undivided attention to its profession right now. I know that, it's changing homes and things are going on at home and they're trying to put down roots and do all of that, but surely this week brings their attention to their profession, their career and public standing, what it is they do professionally. And there are options. They're going to find out by Thursday that there are some hard choices they have to make, and they need to do it. And they need to do it, and this is going to sound strange, they need to do it like a king is the right way to say it. They need to do it. Whatever the decision is, they need to make it. They need to make it with authority and go. And literally, and I hate these words more than anything, but it is because I said so.
Oh.
That's what the Scorpio is going to do, because I said so, kind of a thing. And they need to do that because that will solidify their home and foundations. And whatever the professional advancement is, it'll be solid. It'll be based on a solid, thing for them to work out of. So, and I have to laugh. That's Joe Biden moving into the White House. Not even having the doors open for him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Doing professional stuff and saying, I can't take time to enjoy this. I got professional stuff I got to do. So for Scorpios everywhere, put your best foot forward and tell the folks at home, I need to do this for all of us, that kind of a deal. For Sagittarians, this is great energy for Sagittarians. It's in, the sun is in their third house of day-to-day living. The moon is in their ninth house of long-distance travel, legal matters, educational matters, important matters at a distance, contracts, negotiations. Mr. I got a Sagittarius rising. It's the details about that. And for that, you really want to get all that stuff squared away kind of like by Thursday.
Okay.
Have a general idea of here's what I want, here's what you want. We can work out the nit-noise things later on, but the big picture stuff, and that has a lot to do with the amount of time it takes you to do whatever it is you're agreeing to do.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to find a way, as a result of that you're going to have to find a way to get your day-to-day living down to something you can manage, a much better schedule. Yeah. Sagittarians are big fans of kind of like drifting into things rather than, plotting a course. But in order to make all this work, Sad, you're going to have to narrow down those parameters a bit to something you can manage. So
I found that
it gets you.
I found that I've always, thought this. You got to have time to live. While it's one thing to work and to make money and to have a career, but if you don't have time to actually sit back and take a look at your body of work, then it kind of digs in your soul a little bit.
Yeah, completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. But this is the right time to sign contracts for that stuff and to find a way to and it just really gets down to budgeting your time a little better, being more efficient doing that, something Sagittarians hate to do. But they can hire a Virgo to help them do that. But it's a good time for legal things, and that's the big thing. And it also has a lot to do with the things that they are agreeing to kind of go along with what their quest in life is, sort of what their part of how they always saw themselves is sort of what they get to nail down over this eclipse or so.
Okay.
That makes sense. For Capricorns, this energy for Capricorns is in how can I make money and how can I spend money, which I think is a delightful problem to have. If you're going to have a full moon somewhere. The money gods are smiling on Capricorns. They do very well financially. They benefit. But this is not so much the Capricorn's earning ability. These are the resources Capricorns share with other people, is where they're going to be able to maximize an existing resource rather than finding a new resource. And something new comes to light on Thursday because the full moon, it's like this big bright light in the sky that shows them very clearly which resources they can maximize. It won't be where they're going, geez, I wonder which ones. It'll be very clear to them which ones that they get the chance to maximize. And roll the dice on it, Capricorn. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain type of a deal. So I think it's cool. I think it's great energy. I'm so happy. I'm just so happy that we're in Aquarius now. It's so much better than that dark, heavy Capricorn energy.
Right.
So I'm delighted about that.
Feels lighter. It feels lighter today. I can tell you that right now with everything that's been going on. Great weekend coming off a good Sunday.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm. How wonderful. And then you need to finish up a lot of the stuff by Friday because on Saturday Mercury goes retrograde, which we'll talk about next week. But you just want to finish up. And that's the beauty of having a full moon right before it retrogrades is that if you're smart, you'll go ahead and make sure that you've wrapped up all the loose ends. And then during the retrograde, it won't bother you so much. That's the kind of thing to get your mind, and that's what the full moon is sort of, so you can see your way clear in how to act in each, in whatever area of your life that full moon is occurring in, whatever house it's occurring in. So, did that make any sense at all? Because it was confusing even to me.
No, it did. Actually, I was.
Okay.
I was just about to. I happened to see a note from before the show. One of our listeners, Julie, wanted to know if there's any symbolism. She's had some loss in her life, and she has noticed there's been a bird trying to get in her house. And the symbolism with a bird, is there anything? Can she add that up to maybe? Yeah.
Oh, I believe that. Those are called random omens. When you're predicting things, one of the things is something random, and a random is a bird crossing your path, but. I always think of birds as messengers, and it really depends on the message is depending on the color of the bird. Red birds are good messages. Yellow birds are good messages. Black birds, not so good messages. So it depends on what color that bird is. But yeah, she's right to think that it's trying to tell her something.
All right, there you go. We get all kinds of interesting questions because they know you're not only an astroanalyst, but you're kind of a life coach, and all sorts of ideologies there when it comes to different matters. So thank you very much, Star Goddess. So we're going to be probably getting you, maybe putting you on the hook for a couple of predictions and stuff like that when it comes to the Super Bowl over the next 2 weeks. It should be interesting.
Absolutely. I'm ready. I got all my guys right here. See my cheat sheet? That's my cheat sheet to everybody. That's my cheat sheet.
Star Goddess podcast right here on the Crash and AJ blog every Monday.